Dr. Emily Patterson adjusted her maintenance uniform, fighting the urge to scratch at the holographic disguise that made her appear as one of the Council's numerous Alaxian cleaning staff. After 3 years of deep cover work for the Perseus Initiative, she'd learned to ignore the constant tingling sensation, but today's tension made everything feel worse. The Grand Council chamber stretched above her, a massive dome of crystalline architecture that housed representatives from over 200 spacefaring civilizations. As she methodically worked her cleaning drone across the chamber's upper observation deck, her augmented reality implants recorded everything while transmitting encrypted bursts of data back to Earth through quantum channels. Grand Counselor Zixthar, a towering figure of silvery scales and multiple primary arms, took the central podium. Emily's heart raced. After months of gathering intelligence, this was the moment she'd been waiting for. Esteemed colleagues, Zixthar's translated voice resonated through the chamber. We can no longer ignore the human question. Their rapid technological advancement, coupled with their inherent aggressive tendencies, presents an unprecedented threat to galactic stability. Emily watched as digital displays materialized throughout the chamber, showing carefully selected footage of Earth's conflicts, environmental challenges, and social struggles. She recognized the subtle propaganda. Every negative aspect highlighted, every achievement minimized or portrayed as dangerous. Our surveillance indicates they will achieve independent FTL travel within 50 years. Zixthar continued, unaware that humanity had crossed that threshold 5 years ago. Their current trajectory suggests they will enter space as conquerors, not partners. From her position, Emily noticed Ambassador Kretal of the Arcturian Collective shifting uncomfortably. The Arcturians had always been more observant than their peers, and their research into human history went deeper than the superficial analysis preferred by the Council leadership. We propose immediate intervention, Zixthar declared. Our geneticists have developed a tailored viral vector that will accelerate their evolution, emphasizing cooperation over competition, harmony over discord. We can guide them toward a more civilized state. Ambassador Kretal rose, his crystalline form catching the chamber's light. With respect, Grand Counselor, I must object. Our studies suggest human aggression is inextricably linked to their remarkable adaptability. Their competitive nature drives innovation at rates that exceed even our most advanced models. Modified humans might be more passive, but they would lose the very traits that make them unique. Emily silently cheered for Kretal, but she could already see from the chamber's shifting colors that he was in the minority. Most species on the Council had evolved through gradual, peaceful development. They fundamentally couldn't understand a species forged in the crucible of constant competition and challenge. Your concern is noted, Ambassador, Zixthar replied smoothly, but we cannot risk another Kryvac situation. The humans must be guided firmly, for their own good and the good of the galaxy. The vote, when it came, was depressingly predictable. Emily watched as the chamber filled with green indicators, 189 species in favor, 28 against, with 14 abstentions. The Council had just voted to fundamentally alter humanity's very nature, without their knowledge or consent. As the session concluded, Emily made her way toward the maintenance corridors, careful to maintain her cover. Her mind raced with the implications. The Council would discover their mistakes soon enough. Humanity wasn't trapped on Earth by technological limitations, but by choice. The Perseus Initiative had spent decades preparing for first contact, watching and learning from the shadows. Reaching a secure area, Emily activated her quantum communicator, broadcasting directly to Admiral Hayes' command center beneath the Mariana Trench. Sir, Operation Sleeping Giant is now active. The Council has taken the bait. Hayes' response was immediate. Understood, Doctor. You've done well. Begin extraction protocol and prepare for Phase 2. Let's show them why you don't try to cage something without checking if it's already free. As Emily began her carefully planned escape route, she allowed herself a small smile. The Council thought they were about to chain a beast, Instead, they were about to learn why humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their aggression, but their ability to make others catastrophically underestimate them until it was too late. Major James Walker drifted in zero gravity beside the malfunctioning communications satellite, his magnetic boots anchored to its weather-beaten surface. The routine maintenance mission had turned anything but routine when his helmet sensors detected an anomalous energy signature emanating from what appeared to be a simple weather monitoring device. "Command, this is Stargazer 1, he reported, his experienced eyes noting details that seemed increasingly wrong. "The satellite's construction. It's not one of ours. The materials don't match any known Earth manufacturers." "Copy that, Stargazer 1. Lieutenant Sarah Morgan's voice crackled through his comm. "Dr. Mitchell's team is analyzing your feed. Hold position." A slight movement caught Walker's attention. Something was emerging from the satellite's housing, something that definitely wasn't terrestrial technology. The object unfurled like liquid metal, forming into a humanoid shape roughly the size of a child. "Holy shit," Walker breathed, instinctively reaching for the modified railgun magnetized to his suit. "Command, we have contact." "I repeat, we have." "Please lower your weapon, Major Walker," the figure spoke in perfect, unaccented English. "We mean you no harm. We're here to help your species evolve." Walker kept his weapon trained on the entity. Years of Perseus Initiative training kicked in. They'd anticipated first contact scenarios, but not like this. "Identify yourself." The figure's surface rippled, taking on a more human-like appearance. "I am Rehabilitation Specialist, Zin X of the Galactic Council. Your species has been selected for guided evolution. Please don't resist. It's for your own good." Meanwhile, 2,000 miles below, FBI Special Agent Kate Sullivan stood in a basement laboratory in Nebraska, staring at equipment that shouldn't exist. 3 dead scientists lay on the floor, their bodies contorted in ways that suggested their own DNA had turned against them. "Talk to me. Forensics," she demanded, watching the hazmat team work. "What are we looking at?" Dr. Marcus Reynolds, the FBI's leading xenobiologist, studied his readings with growing concern. "It's a genetics lab. But the tech. Kate, this is at least a century beyond our current capabilities. They're trying to modify the human genome on a massive scale." Sullivan's secure phone buzzed, a message from her Perseus Initiative handler. Her eyes widened as she read the update from orbit. "Marcus, pack everything. We're leaving." This just got bigger than FBI jurisdiction. Back in space, Walker maintained his position as 3 more figures emerged from the satellite. His suit's sensors were going crazy, detecting energy signatures that defied known physics. "Your species' aggressive tendencies must be corrected," Zin X continued, floating closer. "The Council has voted. Resistance will only make the process more difficult." Walker's combat neural interface was already transmitting everything to Perseus Command. He knew he was witnessing the beginning of what could be humanity's greatest crisis, or their greatest opportunity. "Funny thing about humans," Walker said, buying time as his HUD showed incoming friendly signatures. "We don't respond well to forced evolution." The alien's expression shifted to something like pity. "Your response is typical of primitive species. You don't understand what's best for." Multiple hypervelocity rounds suddenly tore through space, destroying the satellite and forcing the aliens to reveal their true forms as their humanoid disguises failed. The UES Nighthawk decloaked 50 kilometers out, its stealth systems finally revealing humanity's hidden capabilities. "This is Admiral Hayes to all Council operatives." A new voice boomed across all frequencies. "You are in violation of restricted space. Earth is not as defenseless as you assumed. Stand down or be eliminated." Walker watched the aliens' expressions shift from confidence to confusion to the beginning of fear. The exact moment they realized they'd catastrophically miscalculated. In Nebraska, Sullivan and Reynolds evacuated the lab just as orbital strikes reduced it to atoms, eliminating all evidence of the Council's attempted genetic manipulation. Similar strikes were happening worldwide, destroying hundreds of secret facilities before they could be activated. Command, Walker reported, watching the aliens surrender as Perseus Initiative ships emerged from hidden positions throughout Earth orbit. I believe the Council just got their first lesson in human nature. We don't take kindly to uninvited guests trying to fix us. Admiral Hayes' response was grim but satisfied. Lesson 2 is coming up shortly. Let's show them why you don't poke a sleeping giant. The Galactic Council's critical mistake wasn't just attempting to change humanity. It was assuming they had the right to try it all. As Walker escorted his prisoners to the Nighthawk's brig, he couldn't help but smile. The game was on, and humanity had just revealed their first cards. Admiral Michael Hayes stood before the United Nations Security Council, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic display showing Earth's secret fleet. The chamber had been cleared of all non-essential personnel, and quantum scramblers ensured absolute privacy for what would become known as humanity's most pivotal moment. Ladies and gentlemen, Hayes began, his voice carrying the weight of 2 decades of preparation. What you're looking at is the Perseus Initiative's primary defense fleet. 37 ships, all FTL capable, built in secret beyond Neptune's orbit using technology we've reverse-engineered from studying the Council's activities. The chamber erupted in controlled chaos. The Chinese representative leaned forward, eyes narrowed. How long have we had this capability? We achieved our first successful FTL jump 5 years ago, Hayes replied. Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez, you have the floor. Alex Rodriguez's hologram materialized beside Hayes. Fresh from commanding the UES Nighthawk during the satellite incident, he still wore his battle armor. The Council believes we're decades away from interstellar travel. That misconception is our greatest advantage. The holograms shifted, showing the Nighthawk's specs. Its sleek, predatory design reflected humanity's different approach to space warfare. While Council ships favored overwhelming force, human vessels prioritized stealth and adaptability. Right now, Rodriguez continued, the Council's monitoring station in the Kuiper Belt is tracking what they believe to be normal asteroid movement. In reality, they're watching a carefully choreographed dance of holographic projections. The real asteroids, he paused, allowing himself a slight smile, were moved months ago to create shipping lanes for our fleet. Hayes took control again. In 10 minutes, the Nighthawk will demonstrate our capabilities by neutralizing that monitoring station without firing a single shot. This will serve as both warning and invitation to the Council. They can either deal with us as equals, or learn why humanity's apparent isolation was a choice, not a limitation. The Russian representative raised an eyebrow. And if they choose confrontation, then they'll learn that humans aren't just good at fighting, Hayes answered. We excel at winning. In deep space, the UES Nighthawk glided silently toward its target. Rodriguez's command crew operated with practiced precision, their neural interfaces allowing near instantaneous responses to changing conditions. Quantum field stable, Lieutenant Sarah Chen reported from her station. Stealth systems at maximum efficiency. They still think we're a piece of space debris. Rodriguez nodded, watching the massive Council station grow larger on their main display. Begin Phase 1. Let's show them what happens when you underestimate humanity's creativity. The Nighthawk's specially designed quantum infiltration systems began their work, sliding through the Council's most advanced firewalls like they weren't there. Years of studying their technology had revealed a critical weakness. The Council's absolute confidence in their superiority meant they never expected anyone to understand their systems well enough to hack them. Back on Earth, Hayes watched the operation unfold through his neural link. The UN representatives leaned forward as the Nighthawk executed its mission with surgical precision. Target systems compromise. Rodriguez's voice echoed through the chamber. Initiating shutdown sequence. No casualties, no weapons fired, just as planned. The Council station's lights flickered and died, its artificial gravity failing as emergency systems went dark. The message was clear. Humanity could have destroyed it, but chose not to. They were demonstrating restraint, not weakness. "Broadcast ready, sir," Rodriguez reported. Hayes straightened his uniform. "Send it." Throughout Council space, on every frequency they monitored, the message played. To the Galactic Council. "Your recent attempts to alter our species have not gone unnoticed. Consider this a demonstration of capabilities you believed we wouldn't have for decades. We chose isolation to study and understand our galaxy before emerging. That time has ended. You have 24 hours to recall all covered operatives from Earth space and prepare for official diplomatic contact. We look forward to peaceful dialogue, but make no mistake, we are ready for any alternative you choose." As the message played, Hayes addressed the Security Council one final time. The Council thought they were waking the sleeping giant. They're about to discover that the giant was never really sleeping, just waiting for the right moment to rise. The UN representatives sat in stunned silence, processing the reality that humanity had just announced its presence to the galaxy not with violence, but with a display of technological superiority that couldn't be ignored. The game had changed, and Earth had just made its first major move. Colonel Jennifer Barnes strode through Moonbase Alpha's quantum-shielded command center, her boots magnetic locked to the floor as holographic displays tracked the incoming Council fleet. The base, officially a research station, had just revealed its true nature as Earth's primary orbital defense hub. "Status report," she commanded, reaching her position at the central tactical station. The massive chamber, carved deep into the lunar rock, hummed with controlled tension. Lieutenant Marcus Wright's fingers danced across his neural interface. 97 Council vessels just emerged from FTL at the edge of the Kuiper Belt. Their energy signatures matched known peacekeeping fleet configurations. But he paused, frowning. Something's different about their weapon systems. They've modified them, Barnes concluded, her quantum prediction algorithms already processing the data. "Show me the simulations." The holographic display shifted, showing probability streams based on Council tactical doctrine. But Barnes had spent years studying how they fought, developing countermeasures for this exact scenario. The Council's fatal flaw was their rigid adherence to standardized combat protocols. They lacked humanity's talent for improvisation. "They're going to try to hurt us," she announced, watching the prediction pattern solidify. "Standard Council containment strategy. Force us into a defensive position, then demand surrender while demonstrating overwhelming force." "Ma'am," Wright interrupted, "we're receiving a transmission from their flagship." The holographic display flickered, revealing Grand Admiral Zexthar's imposing figure. "Earth Defense Command, this is your only warning. Your recent actions have demonstrated dangerous technological advancement without proper oversight. Submit to Council authority now, or face immediate pacification." Barnes allowed herself a small smile. "Grand Admiral, we've been expecting you. However, I believe you're operating under several critical misconceptions. The Council will not be deterred by your primitive attempts at—" "Look up," Barnes interrupted. Across the Council fleet, sensor officers suddenly detected thousands of quantum signatures activating simultaneously. The moon's dark side lit up as hundreds of hidden weapon platforms revealed themselves, each powered by zero-point energy cells reverse-engineered from Council technology. "What you're seeing," Barnes continued, "is just one layer of Earth's defense network. We've had decades to prepare while you thought we were trapped on our world. Would you like to see the rest?" Without waiting for a response, she activated the full network. Throughout the solar system, artificial asteroids dropped their camouflage, revealing automated defense platforms. Quantum fields shifted, exposing spacecraft hangars built into Mars' moons. Jupiter's orbital space rippled as stealth fields deactivated, showing weapon systems integrated into the gas giant's rings. "Impossible," Zexthar breathed. "Your species couldn't have advanced this far without you noticing." Barnes finished. "That was rather the point, Grand Admiral. Now about those misconceptions." She keyed a specific command sequence. Throughout the Council fleet, weapon systems suddenly powered down as quantum viruses, tailored specifically to their technology. Activated. The mighty peacekeeping fleet found itself effectively disarmed. What you're experiencing, Barnes explained calmly, is a demonstration of why humans are particularly dangerous. We don't just adapt to threats, we anticipate them. Every piece of technology you're so proud of, we've been studying and countering for years. Your weapons are based on predictable patterns. Ours, she paused meaningfully, aren't. This is an act of war, Zexthar snarled. No, Admiral. This is a conversation about respect. You came here expecting to find primitives cowering before your might. Instead, you found equals who've been preparing for this moment since we first detected your presence in our system. The tactical display showed Council ships frantically trying to restore their systems, but Barnes' quantum viruses had been too perfectly tailored to their operating protocols. You have two choices, she concluded. Return to Council space and prepare for legitimate diplomatic contact, or she let the threat hang unspoken as targeting solutions appeared on every Council vessel. For several tense moments, the command center waited. Then, slowly, the Council fleet began to retreat, their mighty ships humbled not by violence, but by the realization that they had completely misjudged their opponent. As the last Council ship disappeared into FTL, Wright turned to Barnes. Think they got the message, Mom? Oh, they got it, Barnes replied, watching the tactical display return to normal. The question is whether they're wise enough to learn from it. Marine Sergeant David Wilson crouched in the shadows of the Council's central data hub on Proxima Centauri B, his quantum camouflage suit rendering him virtually invisible. The massive structure, a crystalline spire that housed the Council's primary information network, stretched kilometers into the alien sky. Team positions, he whispered into his neural comm. Echo 1 in position, came Corporal Rodriguez's response. Quantum charges set. Echo 2, ready, Lieutenant Chen added. Security patterns mapped. Wilson checked his heads-up display, where Dr. Thomas Mitchell's I-virus pulsed softly in his quantum drive. The culmination of years of research, it was designed to do something the Council never expected, turn their own social networks against them. Remember, Mitchell's voice crackled through the secure channel from Earth. The virus needs 60 seconds of direct contact with their mainframe. Once it's in, it'll spread through their quantum channels faster than they can contain it. Wilson moved silently through the facility, his enhanced muscles and neural implants allowing him to navigate the alien architecture with inhuman precision. The Council's arrogance worked in their favor. They never expected anyone to infiltrate this deep into their territory. Contact, he whispered, freezing as a patrol of Zelaxian guards passed below. Their biosignatures pulsed red in his vision, but they remained oblivious to his presence. The Perseus Initiative's stealth tech was proving its worth. Reaching the central processing hub, Wilson interfaced with the alien system. Years of studying captured Council technology had prepared him for this moment. Beginning upload. Echo Team, prepare for distraction on my mark. The virus began its work, slipping through quantum pathways and embedding itself in the Council's vast information network. But this wasn't just any cyber weapon. It was designed to expose the truth about the Council's manipulation of younger species, their secret genetic experiments, and their attempts to forcibly evolve civilizations they deemed threatening. Sir, Rodriguez's voice cut in. We've got incoming. Security VI detected something. Wilson watched the upload progress. 50 seconds to go. Execute distraction protocol. Across the facility, carefully placed quantum charges detonated, creating contained spatial distortions that sent security forces scrambling. The Council's predictable response protocols worked against them. They deployed forces exactly as humanity had anticipated. 40 seconds, Wilson counted down, watching as the virus began spreading. Already, it was replicating through quantum channels, piggybacking on the Council's own communication networks. The first alarms began to sound as the system detected the intrusion, but it was too late. The virus had evolved beyond their containment protocols, designed specifically to exploit the rigid, predictable nature of Council technology. Upload complete, Wilson announced. Echo Team, extract. Mission accomplished. As they retreated through their prepared escape routes, the effects of their operation began to manifest. Throughout Council space, secure channels were flooded with evidence of corruption and manipulation. Social networks lit up with revelations about the Council's true nature, carefully selected and distributed to cause maximum impact. Back on Earth, Dr. Mitchell watched the chaos unfold through quantum feeds. "It's beautiful," he breathed, watching as the virus adapted and evolved, staying ahead of Council cyber defenses. They never considered that we use their own social media against them. Wilson and his team reached their stealth shuttle just as the facility went into full lockdown, but the damage was done. Across Council space, billions of citizens were waking up to the truth about their leadership. "This is just the beginning," Mitchell commented as the team initiated their FTL jump home. "The virus will continue to spread, exposing more secrets, creating more chaos." The Council's greatest weakness was assuming they could control information flow forever. Wilson removed his helmet as they entered safe space, allowing himself a small smile. They thought they were dealing with primitives who only understood physical warfare. Instead, they're learning that humans excel at something far more dangerous: information warfare. The mission's success marked a turning point in the conflict. The Council had expected a direct military response to their actions. Instead, humanity had struck at something far more vulnerable: their legitimacy in the eyes of their own people. As the stealth shuttle disappeared into FTL, Wilson couldn't help but appreciate the irony. The Council had wanted to force humanity to evolve, never realizing that adaptation and unconventional thinking were already their greatest strengths. Now those same strengths were being used to dismantle the Council's authority from within, one revealed secret at a time. Ambassador Rachel Anderson studied her reflection in the polished surface of the diplomatic shuttle, adjusting her formal attire. 15 years as a professional poker player before joining the diplomatic course had taught her how to read opponents across species barriers. Today, those skills would prove crucial. The meeting location, a neutral space station orbiting Proxima Centauri, hummed with tension. Representatives from 12 younger Council species had agreed to this clandestine gathering, each drawn by humanity's unprecedented challenge to the established order. "Remember," her neural aide whispered, "Princess Votel of the Centaurians is key. Her species has been pushing for reforms for centuries." Anderson touched her quantum translator, ensuring it was properly calibrated. Any last-minute intelligence from Dr. Mitchell's virus? The Council's internal communications are in chaos. 3 more species have filed official protests against the attempted forced evolution program. The timing is perfect. She entered the conference chamber, instantly noting the positioning of each delegate. The Centaurians, led by Princess Votel, had chosen seats closest to Earth's position, a clear political statement. "Distinguished representatives," Anderson began, her translator conveying not just words but subtle emotional undertones, "I thank you for your courage in attending. We all know the risks involved." Votel's crystalline form shifted, refracting light in patterns that indicated interest. "The Council claims humans are too aggressive, too unpredictable to join galactic society. Yet here you stand, offering dialogue instead of threats." Anderson allowed herself a small smile. The Council's fundamental mistake was assuming that humanity's traits were flaws to be corrected, rather than advantages to be understood. "We're not here to destroy the galactic order. We're here to help it evolve naturally." She activated the chamber's holographic display, showing evidence gathered by Dr. Mitchell's virus. "The Council didn't just target Earth. We've uncovered proof of genetic manipulation attempts against 8 other species, including the Centaurians." The chamber erupted in multilingual chatter. Votel's crystalline structure pulsed with angry colors. "These accusations require proof." "We thought you might say that," Anderson replied, transmitting data packets to each delegate. "Everything is verified through quantum encrypted timestamps. The Council hasn't just been controlling development. They've been actively suppressing species they deemed too innovative. The Artaxian delegate, their tentacles writhing with emotion, spoke next. "What exactly are you proposing, Ambassador?" Anderson stood, channeling every lesson learned from years of high-stakes poker. A new compact, not built on suppression and forced evolution, but on mutual respect and self-determination. Earth doesn't want to rule. We want to collaborate. Pretty words, Vaughtel noted, but words alone won't protect us from Council retaliation. No, Anderson agreed, but this will. She activated another hologram, revealing specifications for human defensive technology. "We're offering to share our advancements in quantum shielding and stealth systems, not weapons, protections. The Council's advantage has always been overwhelming force. We're offering you the means to make that advantage obsolete." The chamber grew quiet as the implications sank in. Humanity wasn't just offering alliance, they were offering independence. The Council claims humans are dangerous because we're aggressive. Anderson continued. "The truth is, we're dangerous because we understand something they've forgotten. Real strength comes from cooperation between equals, not domination of the weak." Vaughtel rose, her crystalline form glowing with decision. The Centaurian Collective formally withdraws from the Council and requests immediate alliance with Earth. Like dominoes falling, other species followed. Within hours, the Council's power base had fractured as younger civilizations declared their independence, protected by human technology and united in purpose. As the historic session concluded, Vaughtel approached Anderson privately. "You're a fascinating species, Ambassador. You could have conquered us all with your technological advantages. Instead, you chose to free us." Anderson smiled, thinking of all the poker games where the real victory came not from the cards played, but from understanding the players. The Council never understood that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our aggression. It's our ability to turn potential enemies into allies by offering something they've never had: respect. As her shuttle departed the station, Anderson watched the newly allied fleet assembling. The Council had tried to chain a beast, never realizing that humanity's true power lay not in their capacity for violence, but in their talent for bringing others together in common cause. The game wasn't over, but humanity had just changed the rules fundamentally. And if there was one thing Rachel Anderson knew from her poker days, it was how to play a winning hand. General Jack Harrison stood on the bridge of the UES Prometheus, Earth's newest flagship, as the combined fleet of Earth and its allies prepared for the Council's inevitable response. Holographic displays showed over 300 ships, a mix of human stealth vessels and newly upgraded allied crafts. Council fleet detected. Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez announced, his neural interface processing tactical data. 500 vessels emerging from FTL. Traditional attack formation. Harrison nodded, unsurprised. The Council was falling back on what they knew best: overwhelming force and textbook tactics. Status of Operation Chimera. Ice swarms are in position, Rodriguez confirmed. Quantum entanglement networks are stable. All Allied ships report ready for coordinated action. The General opened a fleet-wide channel. All vessels, this is Harrison. The Council believes they understand warfare because they've spent millennia perfecting a single approach. Today, we show them why adaptation beats perfection. Execute Chimera Protocol. Across the battlefield, thousands of microscopic AI drones activated, their quantum shields making them virtually invisible. Unlike traditional warfare, this battle would be fought on multiple dimensions simultaneously: physical, digital, and psychological. Council fleet is broadcasting, Rodriguez reported. They're demanding immediate surrender. Send them our response, Harrison ordered, a grim smile playing across his features. Throughout the Council fleet, command systems suddenly blazed with a simple message: surrender is not in our nature. Evolution is. The battle erupted across space. Council ships launched their first salvos, expecting to face a traditional defense. Instead, their weapons passed harmlessly through holographic projections, while the real fleet attacked from completely different vectors. Phase 1 complete, Harrison announced as the first wave of Council ships fell into disarray. Begin Phase 2. Show them why humans excel at asymmetric warfare. The AI swarms infiltrated Council vessels through quantum vulnerabilities, disrupting their rigid command structures. Meanwhile, human ships demonstrated combat maneuvers that defied conventional physics, using technology reverse-engineered and improved upon from multiple species. "Sir," Rodriguez called out, "the Centaurian squadron is requesting permission to execute Protocol Omega." Harrison nodded. "Granted. Let's show the Council what their lesser species can really do." Princess Vatal's ships unleashed devastating attacks using a combination of Centaurian crystal technology and human quantum innovations. The hybrid technology proved devastatingly effective against Council defenses calibrated for known weapon types. "Council fleet is attempting to regroup," Rodriguez reported. "They're falling back to Formation Delta." "Predictable," Harrison mused. "Execute Phase 3. Let's introduce them to human psychological warfare." Across the battlefield, quantum projectors activated, creating massive illusions of Earth's historical warriors, Roman legions, Mongol horsemen, samurai, and modern soldiers, all transitioning into futuristic space warriors. The display was pure theater, but it achieved its purpose, demonstrating humanity's warrior heritage while disrupting Council morale. "Sir," Rodriguez interrupted, "Council command ship is showing signs of power fluctuation. Dr. Mitchell's virus has breached their quantum fireballs." Harrison opened a channel to the Council flagship. "This is General Harrison to Council Command. Your fleet is in disarray. Your technology has been compromised. Your allies have abandoned you. Consider your next move carefully." The response came from Grand Admiral Zixthar himself, his voice carrying a note of disbelief. "What are you?" "We are human," Harrison replied. "We are what you created when you tried to force us to change. Every attempt to contain us made us stronger. Every effort to control us made us more innovative. You wanted to evolution. Congratulations, you got it. Just not the way you expected." The battle concluded not with a devastating final blow, but with something the Council understood even less: mercy. As their fleet lay crippled and exposed, humanity and their allies didn't destroy them. Instead, they offered terms. "Return to your space," Harrison commanded. "Tell your Council that the age of forced evolution and controlled development is over. The species you dismissed as primitive or violent have proven themselves more capable of growth than you ever were." As the defeated Council fleet limped away, Harrison watched the Allied ships celebrating their victory. Humanity had just demonstrated why they were considered dangerous, not because they were the strongest or most advanced, but because they could unite diverse species and turn established tactics against their creators. "Send word to Earth," Harrison ordered. "Tell them the beast is awake, and it's not what the Council expected. We're not just warriors. We're teachers, innovators, and leaders, and we're just getting started." President Lisa Martinez stood before the newly formed Galactic Assembly, the grand chamber reflecting the merged architectural styles of 20 different species. 1 year after the Battle of Proxima Centauri, the galaxy had changed more than anyone could have predicted. "Distinguished representatives," she began, her voice carrying across the vast chamber, "we gather today not to celebrate victory, but to acknowledge transformation. The old Council believed that evolution could be forced, that progress could be controlled. They forgot that true growth comes from challenge, from diversity, and yes, even from conflict when properly channeled." The chamber, built in the ruins of the old Council headquarters, hummed with quantum translators as hundreds of species listened. Former Council members sat alongside their one-time lesser races, equality finally achieved through understanding rather than force. Humanity was called a beast, Martinez continued, gesturing to the holographic displays showing Earth's journey from isolation to galactic leadership. "We were labeled as too aggressive, too unpredictable. But those very traits, combined with our capacity for cooperation and innovation, led us here, not as conquerors, but as catalysts for change. Ambassador Rachel Anderson, seated with the diplomatic corps, watched the reformed council members' reactions. Their rigid belief systems had been shattered, replaced by a newfound respect for the species they once sought to control. The Perseus Initiative, Martins revealed, was never just about defending Earth. It was about preparing for this moment, when all species could contribute their unique strengths to a greater whole. The Centaurians' crystal technology, merged with human quantum theory, has opened new frontiers in communication. The Artaxians' biological insights, combined with our medical advances, are curing diseases across the galaxy. Dr. Thomas Mitchell's hologram appeared next to her, his quantum virus now repurposed as the backbone of a new transparent information network. Even our conflicts have proven valuable, he added. The combination of different combat doctrines led to breakthroughs in spatial mechanics that have revolutionized travel between the spiral arms. Princess Vautel, now Chancellor of the Reformed Territories, rose to speak. When humans first revealed themselves, we feared they would seek revenge for the Council's attempts to change them. Instead, they showed us a better path, one where diversity is strength and adaptation comes through cooperation rather than force. Martinez activated the chamber's central display, showing the new Galactic Charter. This document, crafted with input from all our peoples, ensures that no species will ever again face forced evolution. Each civilization's unique traits are protected, their contributions valued. We've learned that true progress comes not from eliminating differences, but from finding ways to make those differences work together. The chamber erupted in approval as the charter was formally ratified. Humanity's beast had indeed awakened, but instead of the monster the Council feared, it had proven to be a force for positive change. Admiral Hayes, watching from the military section, leaned toward General Harrison. "Think they finally understand?" Harrison nodded, watching former enemies working together, sharing ideas and technologies freely. They're learning what we knew all along. The greatest evolution comes from choice, not force. As the ceremony concluded, Martinez made one final address. Let the galaxy remember this day not as the end of the old order, but as the beginning of true cooperation. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't our weapons or our strategies. It was our ability to learn from every species we encountered, to adapt their strengths while maintaining our identity, and to show others how to do the same. The celebration that followed saw humans and aliens mingling freely, sharing stories and plans for the future. The Council's critical mistake had led to something they never imagined: a galaxy where diversity was celebrated rather than controlled, where evolution happened naturally through cooperation and challenge rather than force. President Martinez, watching the proceedings from a quiet corner, smiled as she saw a group of young aliens eagerly discussing hybrid technology with human engineers. The beast they feared, she murmured to herself, turned out to be the teacher they needed. And throughout the galaxy, species that had once lived in fear of being deemed too primitive or too aggressive began to flourish, each contributing their unique traits to a new age of exploration and discovery. The Council's attempt to cage humanity had instead unleashed something far more powerful: the potential of true cooperation between equals. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly what everyone needed.